Welcome to Odds.com's NBA coverage for Friday, February 26th. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Wham, our first show back together was not good. My read on the Lakers was bad. I mean, the under cashed easily, thank God. I ended up going 2-3, down 1.35 units. Not good. And you had a tough night on the board. Sometimes it's good to get a little slap in the face from the NBA. Keeps you sharper, helps you understand that you're going to war with a monster.
Right.
How you feeling tonight, my man?
I'm feeling good tonight. I got my money back today for
Good.
sure. I tried to do it as much as I could, but it wasn't it wasn't as justified as losing like we did that day. So I'm looking to get it back again. Say I'm not over. Only getting my money back. That's not good enough. You need to get a little bit more than that. So it's all good, bro. I'm trying to get it.
Well, the last time you went 0-4, I think it was just 0-3 day. That was the beginning of your big run. You went on a huge hot streak. So I imagine that will happen here. You're sitting 41-44 on the year. I'm 48-50 on the year. Not good. You're down 5.25 units. I'm down 6.05 units. The turnaround happens right now, Wham. Right fucking now. Let's go for it. I like this card. We picked 6 games on it, and I'm ready to attack. I fear this first game, Wham. I fear it because I want to make heavy bets on the Celtics. And it's such a dangerous thing trying to pick the spot when a team turns it around or stops losing. And generally, it doesn't work out well. Let's break it down. We start 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Pacers 15-15, 8-5 on the road at Boston Celtics 15-17, 8-5 at home. TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts. Boston 3-point favorites. There's been no movement on this game. Our Phoenix Suns are up, and there's been quick movement on that game. We're going to break that game down later, but there's been no movement here. Although there's an indication from some of the big offshore books that this total is going to go up.
You're right.
So it's 219 across the board, but some of the leading indicator books have moved it up. So we'll see if that is facts. Pacers pace last 5, 8th in the NBA, 101.18. Celtics pace last 5, 21st in the league at 97.86 possessions a game. The Pacers' string of underwhelming play continued in a 111-107 loss at home to the Warriors on Wednesday night. It was that much more irritating because I lost, but I also talked Wham off of a Warriors moneyline bet, and Wham, I sincerely apologize. When the Warriors shoot 5 of 26 from 3 and Steph Curry goes 1 for 11 from 3, you should beat them.
Right.
Sabonis and Brogdon are doing all that they can, but it's not enough. Justin Holiday and Doug McDermott should not be relied upon the way they are. Celtics have lost 3 straight and 4 or 5. The last 3 have been disappointing performances on the road. They have been playing badly for a long time, but I see them as having much more upside than this Indiana Pacers squad, at least the Pacers squad playing without Karis LeVert and TJ Warren. In their 127-112 loss at Atlanta, they didn't play that poorly. They really didn't. They turned the ball over just 6 times. They just couldn't stop Gallinari from the perimeter. I mean, when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined to go 1 for 14 from 3, you're going to lose. They go 8 for 31 from 3 as a team. The opponent goes 23 of 42. Look, you're going to lose that basketball game. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to turn their season around right here. But I think Tatum and Brown have too much character, and if they don't, Brad Stevens will be fired. And I don't care what Stephen A. says. Everyone going off on what he's saying about how when an executive says that the Celtics or the players aren't playing with effort, that's a sign that the coach is going to be fired. Great. He's happy because we're talking about him, Stephen A. Smith. You got what you wanted, Stephen A. We're talking about you.
That's enough.
Okay, so when my fear here is this. I want to bet on the Celtics. I want a first half full game. I even want a first quarter. Now I don't want to risk that much money on them. I want Tatum props. I want Brown props. Is this ridiculous? Talk me through how you're going to handle this game, Pacers Celtics.
Yeah, now as far as them first quarter, I wouldn't take them first half either. They're 5-4-1 in the first half recently, so I wouldn't take them there. As far as this team in the Celtics, though, they have been taking care of the ball a little bit better than the Indiana team. Indiana, the last 7 games, they only covered twice. Only covered 6 of the last 18 games for the Indiana Pacers. I kind of, don't like this Indiana team, but they have been shooting all right, right? They've been all right shooting, I guess. I mean, from 34% for the field for 3. I'm sorry, 34% from the 3 in the last 4 games, and 47% for the last field goals. So I'm looking at this team as far as the Boston Celtics, though. They've been shooting a little bit better, 30 or 45% from the field from the field for the Boston Celtics. And you know what it is, though? I think it's the Kemba Walker effect. He's not on this team. I don't think he's going to play again. He was out on a Wednesday game. He's most likely going to be out this game. I think this is a good spot for the Boston Celtics, but I don't really want to go ahead and go against this team just because they can't give it up in the paint. And this is like one of the top 3 paint teams in the Indiana Pacers. And Sabonis is having a bad shooting time. I mean, he's shooting 11% in his last 4 games from 3. He could get back shooting right against this team because they don't want anything down low with Robert Williams. Robert Williams is very athletic out there, so maybe stretch forward. Sabonis is what we're seeing in this game, so I kind of don't want to go against the Indiana Pacers, to be honest with you, bro. And I when I seen you select this game, all I was thinking was I kind of don't want to go against Indiana because they're in the bounce back spot just as much as the Celtics are. But I do see what you're saying in the Celtics, though, to be honest.
Well, okay, I'm gonna take the Celtics full game, and I also want Tatum props. It's not available where I can shop, but FanDuel has his points at 25.5 and Jaylen Brown at 23.5. I want them both over. I'm also very interested in made threes. Tatum's 2.5 at -148, and Brown's 2.5 at +104. Obviously, the Brown one looks a little more appealing. So that's how I'm gonna hammer this. I'm gonna leave the threes alone, although I'll keep a good eye on them and I'll see if I can get a decent line. But I'm gonna take Celtics full game. I'm gonna take both Tatum and Brown props after that horror show. There's a lot of spots on this card, so I'm gonna attack the player prop market on this card. And there's a lot of guys that I think are gonna have bounce back nights. And we start off.
Williams needed at least. I mean, giving up that pass to Trae Young was definitely embarrassing on his behalf, so he needs to bounce back for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to use a Siakam prop later, and that's also on this card that we'll talk about later. But that's how I'm going to do it. So this way, I don't risk as much cash. I can put a full unit on the Celtics, and then I can decide whether I want to put a half unit or 3/4 of a unit on the Tatum and Brown props. Although for show purposes, they'll all be one unit. All right, Wham. We need a fucking bounce back here. We need one bad.
Yes, sir.
Fucking babies sitting there crying, needing their let's fucking go.
Well, you know what, though? You're on the right path with that Celtics, though, bro. The last 3 games, they've been holding the ball, 10 turnovers, 17 turnovers for Indiana. So, you got something there, bro. I feel you, man. I'm it's additions that we can make, but that's something I don't think I'm going to be on my card, though, bro.
No, I get it. It's like you're catching a falling knife when you decide, this team's going to get out of their funk. And that's why I just wanted to be talked off risking too much here.
Right.
It got me off for the first quarter. And I think it's fine getting me off for the first half. I don't want to have $600 on this game.
Yeah, I feel that.
Celtics full game, Tatum and Brown props. I can be comfortable and not lose my shit watching the game. Okay, we move on. Another 7:30 p.m. Eastern game and a very interesting one. Houston Rockets 11-19, 6-12 on the road at the Toronto Raptors 16-17, 7-7 at home. And I'm happy this market hasn't moved because I didn't bet it. I did the NHL show earlier, just an hour ago, and I wanted to lock in a couple spots. I did want to lock in the Suns, and it's a mistake, and I still haven't bet it yet. I mean, it could be 6 when this show's over. But, the Bulls are playing good basketball. I'm sorry, but I'm talking about another game.
It's all good.
But Rockets, Raptors, I tell you what I want. I don't care how slow the Raptors pace is. 30th in the NBA, 95 possessions a game, and it slowed down even more with Kyle Lowry back in the lineup, which has surprised me a bit. I want the over in this game. There's going to be no paint presence whatsoever.
I feel that.
In Rockets, Raptors, and it hasn't moved. It's sitting at 220. I'm betting the over, and I'm betting Siakam. And I was Siakam props. He's coming off a bad game. We'll get to that. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the Raptors, I wanted, but at 7, I just don't think I want them at 7. And it's actually moved to 7.5 in the indicator book. So when we wake up in the morning, I expect it to be 7.5 across the board. And the indicator books have moved it to 221 already. Shit. I have to bet this soon. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Rockets pace last 5, third in the NBA, 102.40. Rockets have lost 9 straight and have lost the last 2 exceptionally ugly. Wham backed them against the Cavs, and I'm sure he's angry about it. They're coming off that 112-96 loss at Cleveland on Wednesday night. Christian Wood out of the lineup. They had no answer for Jared Allen. Jared Allen ties his career high with 26 points, 18 boards, and blocks 4 shots. John Wall scores 20. Oladipo 17 and 6 rebounds in his return from a strained right foot. Eric Gordon returned to the lineup and added 17 points off the bench. So Wham's whole premise of why he was backing them, it worked. You had your 2 guys back in the lineup. It should have come to fruition, but they don't start anybody taller than 6'6". We've seen this story before, and they don't have James Harden putting up 50 points. So they were out-rebounded 55-33, and it was ugly. And Christian Wood's not coming back till after the All-Star break. Raptors coming off their second straight loss, 116-108 at Miami on Wednesday night. Kyle Lowry returned from the thumb injury, led the way with 24.7 rebounds and 8 assists. And it was sad watching because it just feels like his departure is imminent. And, after 9 years of watching that big ass fight so hard for us and bring an NBA championship to our city, looks like he's just showcasing himself. And it's sad. Van Fleet, 24 points for the Raptors. Norman Powell, 17. OG Anunoby, 14. The Raptors shot the ball well, but were soundly defeated on the glass. You want to know a team that's not going to happen against? The Rockets. That's why maybe I still back them at 7. Siakam was terrible. 1 for 6, 5 points, 4 assists, 2 boards. He's going to have daylight against the Rockets. Toronto 1-5 on the second night of back-to-backs. We don't need to worry about that here, but they're playing their third game in 4 nights. And that in the end, their third game in 4 nights, maybe it's not as legitimate because Lowry just got back, but it's something you don't want to back a team in third game in 4 nights. Wham, bam, take it away, Rockets, Raptors.
Now, a lot of that frustration that I had betting the Rockets was I thought that Eric Gordon was going to have a great game. He was fucking trash. He was trash. I'm just going to get that off of me. Just get it off of me however I got to. Yeah. He was trash. And at this point, look at this Rockets team. They are trash. They're just trash, man. We can't go ahead and think that this team is going to go any other way. And that's probably why the line is moving like this. They're 0-9 the last 9 games, 1-6 the last 7 games against the Eastern Conference opponents. They're not that good, man. They're just not that good. And I honestly think this could be a bounce back spot for them. But against this Raptors team that's just going hot on the first quarter, that's what I'm aiming this at. In the first quarter, the Raptors, they're 21-10 for the season in 1 push, right? Wow. So they're plus on the all-time. They're 9-5 when they're at the house, if this is their house, right? And the last 10 games in the last 10 first quarters, they cover 7 of those. So let me get this one because the last 10 games for the Rockets, they haven't covered 7. They only covered 2 of those. So I'm looking at this Rockets team as probably being slow dragging, trying to get who's hot. You see how they're playing. They're playing who gets hot, and they're going to get the ball to that guy. And none of these guys are getting hot. So I'm going ahead and just fade these guys. I think early is the spot here, and I think you're just going to get probably a better coach. The coach is going at them already the night before. That's the reason why I backed them. The coach went out them. They didn't really respond. I think it's a good time to just fade them now at this point. I mean, we should have been fading them at this point, but I'm going ahead and fade them.
How do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm taking the first quarter, whatever we getting at there. I think we could get it at 2.5, something around there, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. I can get you 2.5 minus 108.
Yes, sir.
Wham. Raps first quarter minus 2.5 and minus 108. And I don't hate the Raps here at this spread. If I had a free play, I would take them -7, but I could see them winning this game by 6, 5. All right, we move on. And this is a beauty. 8 p.m. Eastern, Utah Jazz, 26-6, 11-4 on the road at Miami Heat, 15-17, 8-7 at home. American Airlines Arena in Miami, Florida. And we have no line from the offshore books. Can I get anything from any of these licensed books? Yes. Heat are 5.5-point dogs. And I tell you what, that sounds pretty good to me. Now, Bam dealing with jumper's knee.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That is going to make me wait.
For sure.
But I like this spot. I like this spot here, but come on. I just got my ass kicked with the Lakers, so I'm not going to sit here all confident. Jazz pace last 5, 11th in the NBA, 100.60 possessions a game. Heat pace last 5, 29th, second slowest in the NBA, 96.69 possessions a game. The Jazz continue to roll. Coming off an easy 114-89 win at home over the Lakers. They've won 11 of 12. They continued their barrage from the three-point line, made 22 threes, shot 46% from distance, 8 3-pointers during the second quarter, shot 14 of 23 in the first half. Shooting 61% from 3 in the first half, man. Mitchell, 24.1 points, 4.6 boards, 5.3 assists per game. He's rolling. You got Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, putting up 19.6 points. You have Gobert, a beast down the middle. You have veteran presence. You have all these different options for a coach. This is a very complete, dangerous squad. The Heat have won 4 straight. They're playing their best basketball of the season. And I like it. I'm happy that it's come. They're coming off a 116-108 win at home over the Raptors on Wednesday. Butler goes for 27 points, 14 of them in the fourth quarter. That's a game after him not playing in the fourth quarter when they had their comeback against the Thunder. I don't know how you don't just love this guy, Jimmy Butler. He plays a little while with Andrew Wiggins, and he's like, "Get me out of here. I need to be around winners." I just love this guy. I don't know how you don't. Man, this guy, the way his career trajectory should, any young guy trying to break into the NBA or sitting on the bench in that first year or second year should look at Jimmy Butler and dream big and work fucking hard. Bam goes for 19 and 12, and he's questionable to play. I think he's going to play, but still, last thing I want to do is
for sure.
Because
in a pandemic, no.
If we get Bam out of the lineup and get 8.5, I mean, I'll still bet it. I just want a much better number. Duncan Robinson goes for 17. Goran Dragic returns from the ankle injury, goes for 15. 8th win in their last 11 games. Hero out, Bradley out. Myers Leonard done for the season. What a fun game, Wham. Take it away, Jazz Heat.
Yeah, just the questionable injuries is what's kind of like holding me back from pulling anything on there. The Tyler Hero, Bam injuries, that's kind of holding me back. But if you look at the numbers here, you're going to say that there's going to be no way that the Bam or anybody available or not, they're going to be able to keep up with this team just based off of what they've been doing in Charlotte shooting. They shooting 45% from the 3, the Utah Jazz, man. I just don't want no issue with that, man. I just don't want to go up against it. I've been beat up already before, twice, honestly. I had bet against them against a team that I thought they were going to take advantage on the defensive side in the Sixers. Then I thought the Lakers was going to play some sort of defense against these guys that they haven't. But am I supposed to think that the Heat can do it? No, I don't think so. So I don't think that it's a good spot to bet against this Utah team that's going off, killing everybody, bro. Number 3 in 3-point percentage. Number 17th, though, in opponent 3-point percentage for this Utah Jazz team. So they have been giving up the 3. So if this was a healthy team and a Duncan Robinson that was making shots, you probably would have some confidence in that 8. You know what I mean? You really would have a lot of confidence. So I don't think it's a shame. I mean, I don't think it's a scenario for us to really back the Heat in this spot, to be honest with you. Just based the scenario with this Utah Jazz team, the number 2 in rebounds. again, man, I just don't want to go ahead and jump on him, but it is a spot that I think we could take advantage of some of these props. I know Mike Conley's has been saying that he feel, a little disrespected. He's not playing like he's disrespected. His last 3 games, 43% from the field, 50% from 3. A lot of his shots is coming from 3. I mean, you could get a 3 prop on him. I think that would be a good look for you in this spot because, I mean, it's not like you could count on these guys to give up any 3s. They're going to give up some 3s.
2.5
team, so it's 2.5.
Minus 118 to the over.
Minus 118 to the over. See, that's something you probably don't want to take right there. But that's what I was thinking though in this spot. But other than that, that's the only way I could play this, bro.
Yeah. Oh, geez, my voice is broken. Yeah.
That should hurt right there. Minus 118. That would hurt right there, honestly. I was hoping that minus 105. I was like, yeah, I could take that, but not as much.
Yes, it's very tough.
Not that I 0-4 day, bro. I can't do it, bro.
Jesus. 41 years old, voice is breaking, popping pimples before the show. Well, I hear that. Jazz Heat, it's going to be a really fun game. I want the Heat. I want to go up against the Jazz here. There's no need to move it now.
Right.
I know that God, I just would love to be in that locker room for Butler pregame speech against it. Everybody's going to start playing up against these Jazz, and it's not like the Jazz are coming off. I'm not sitting here saying it's a terrible spot for the Jazz. I'm not saying anything like that.
Not at all.
But the Heat are sitting at home, licking their chops, playing the best basketball of the season, want to test themselves against the best team in the league. They're going to get that opportunity here. So, regardless, money's going to come in on the Jazz. So we'll see what I can get come tip off. And if it's 6.5 or 7 with Bam in the lineup, I'm going to take it.
Right.
We move on.
I like that, though. They're going to make these shots. They got to make these shots, bro. I'm going to be right there with you, bro.
I like it. Okay, let's roll. We move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, LA Clippers. 23-10, 11-4 on the road at Memphis Grizzlies. 13-14, 6-9 at home. FedExForum in Memphis, Tennessee. And these teams just played each other.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can get from a market perspective here.
I believe this one, the one that was
still not available. Really, I thought somebody would share it with us.
It was opened up early before the game played. They both were. This one was 8 today, and the other one for tomorrow was 7.5 for the Clippers.
Okay.
But they didn't. They took it off the board, of course, because the Clippers lost today outright. So yeah,
yeah.
So you know how that works, bro. But I mean, for the way I looked at it for this game, is that I wanted to take the Memphis Grizzlies, and honestly, it kind of showed that today, obviously. But I believe it will show again because it just seemed like they're out. The matchups look too well, especially with Justin Winslow back for the Memphis Grizzlies. It looks real good for them to go up against this team. Now, they did have a lot of turnovers, and the Grizzlies are the number 1 team in the league at opponent turnovers, points in the turnovers. But I just believe that this is a good spot for them, bro. I'm going to let you break it down. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. No, it's great. No, go away. Take it away. So even with let finish it off. Even with the Clippers winning the first, even with the Clippers losing the first, you don't think there's a bounce back spot for the Clip?
I don't think that they're home and home. So you know what I'm saying? It's back-to-backs at home. They're not like going on. So I feel like the advantage is still there for the Memphis Grizzlies. They just played with swagger today. I think they have the confidence that they could do it again and win again straight up outright. But you're going to get like a heavy number on them, I believe, because this as is. I believe the reason why they pulled it is as well is because we don't know if these guys are going to play on the back-to-back, Kawhi and Paul George. Let me put that out there as well, since it's the first information that we got. Usually my guy Jimmy covers all that. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's probably why they pulled these guys off, right? Pulled the line off the books there. So I believe that they're going to play because, this is a team that, you got to have some confidence. And then along with the second half of the season schedules being played, the Grizzlies know they got to carry ground right now. They got 40 games coming up. They're going to lose some of those games in the trenches. So they got to win these games now. This is a good chance for them to play tough at and, probably put it all out there. I think they could cover this number for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Clippers. I think they could do it again as well, bro.
Wow. I think you're going to get a really nice number if you wait. I'd say sit back and wait because there's a ton of belief in these revenge spots, even though I don't even know if revenge is the right word because I don't know if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard care. I really don't. Clippers pace last 5, 15th, 99.4 possessions a game. Grizzlies pace last 5, 10th, 100.7 possessions a game. Leonard scores 17 points. George 13, Ibaka 13. George 3 of 12 for the field. The Clippers shoot 40.5%. The Clippers go back to that Beverly, George, Leonard, Batum, Ibaka starting lineup. If I was going to back the Clippers, I would back them early, but there's just going to be a huge run. I can just imagine so many cappers thinking there's going to be a Clippers bounce back.
For sure.
And if you move on the Grizzlies and move on them late in cash, I think it'll be a very shrewd move. Tyus Jones comes off the bench, scores career high 20 points, 15 minutes, 9 of 11 shooting. All the Grizzlies starters score in double digits. Nobody played more than Morant's 30 minutes. They're fresh, snapped their 2-game losing streak, healthy and look very good. They dominate the paint. They just dominate the paint. Clippers are going to have to come up with a different plan tonight. Very interesting. Well, I'll be with bated breath waiting to hear if you move on the Grizzlies. And if you do, wait.
I feel you. Just to add on to that, what the cappers tomorrow are going to say is that the Clippers off of no rest are 5-0 ATS. So you're going to hear a whole lot of that. The Clippers off of back-to-back. They're covered the spread 5 times. You're going to constantly hear that. But what you're not going to hear is that they're 26 in opponents' points in the game in the last 3 games. That's 55 points that they're allowing in the paint. And this is one of the top 3 paint teams in the Memphis Grizzlies. They're not going to mention that. And they're not going to mention the way they were doing all these turnovers on these guys in today's game with Justin Winslow, just stripping the ball out of Kawhi's hand. So I'm really fun. I think it's going to be a fun matchup, a fun game to watch, bro. I'm really excited about it. The more you talk about it, the more I really like the angle. Wait, jump on the Grizzlies. I think I might be doing that with you. Very interesting. We move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Phoenix Suns at Chicago Bulls. 20-11 are the Suns. 9-5 on the road at the Bulls. 15, 16, 7-9 at home. United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And I've had the pleasure of watching basketball there at the United Center, and I just can't wait till I can start traveling across the border and doing that some more. Let's see what we are dealing with. Phoenix opening up as 5-point favorites. It's moved to 5.5. I got scared because we use these licensed legal books, and I said Fox Bet's already moved it to 6. And I probably should have taken this bet at 5. I was a little focused on NHL, and I'll pay the consequences of that. Well, but I also wanted to hear what Wham thought about this spot. Suns pace last 5, 18th in the NBA at 98.9 possessions a game. Bulls pace last 5, 17th at 99.33 possessions a game. And when I look at those numbers, I'm still shocked. I mean, to think that the pace has slowed that much in the NBA, it really has. Compare that to last year, early in the season. The teams of the 17th and 18th pace would have had at least 5 more possessions a game than these two teams have. After 3 blowout victories, the Suns were stopped on Wednesday night in the surprise 124-121 loss at home versus Charlotte. It was just the Suns' second loss in the last 11 games. Booker named to his second straight All-Star team after an injury replacement for the Lakers forward Anthony Davis. Booker finished with 33 points on 13 and 24 shooting. Chris Paul made the All-Star team for an 11th time, 20 points, 10 assists, 8 boards. The Bulls have won 3 straight and 5 of 6. I cashed on the Bulls on our last show, and I was very fortunate to do it. And they didn't look very good. It was confusing, befuddling. They shoot 59% from the field. They have 7 players scoring double figures. Well, how is that not an easy victory against one of the worst teams in the league? And that really concerns me. And if Rubio didn't hit those 3 foul shots, I knew I needed overtime to get it. Right.
Levine, though, all-star for the first time, 35 points, goes 14 and 21 from the field. Kobe White, 20 points. Wendell Carter Jr., 17 and 10. Laurie Marketing not coming back until after the all-star break. So my first thought, Wham, was, Suns are playing such good basketball. Should probably bet them. But then I thought all the public's going to be on them, and we know how that works. And then I also saw this total at 228.5. And I looked closely at the pace of these two teams. And then I thought the whole key will be to keep Levine out of rhythm. And who better at that than Chris Paul? And that led me to start thinking about the under. So I want you to bang this out for us. I'm very curious to hear break down Suns Bulls.
That is so interesting that you say that about the under, because both of these teams in the last 3 games, they're ranked in the top 3 in opponents' 3-point percentage. And both of these guys in the last 3 games been shooting over 40% from 3, 46% for to be exact for the Suns,
wow,
42% for the Bulls. I would definitely agree there. I would lean to the Suns though, because obviously everybody's going to be on it, but I just say that they're going to take care of the ball a little bit more. Their assist to turnover ratio in the last 3 games is a point and 1.1 more than the Chicago Bulls. I'm just looking at this team is a little bit more different, but I would say that the defense for the Bulls do seem like they're more fearful than the defense for the Suns. I see, as far as Wendell Carter coming back, it seems like their paint defense is a lot better. And that definitely would go a long way with all these guys breaking down the threes. These guys trying to go in, do these lobs or do these floaters. Having a tall, lanky guy like that is definitely showing to help them. So I would definitely lean towards the Suns here. And that under is very interesting here. You said the number is 220?
228.5. 228.5, there's been no movement at all. I just thought of it from the Suns' perspective. That Levine is just on a really impressive run right now. And what does Chris Paul do when an opposing guard's on a run like that? Get him out of his rhythm. But take it away. Continue with what you were about to say.
No, I was just thinking about that under, man. The last 2 meetings went under. I think that you're right onto something just because of these teams as well. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that the Phoenix is a big under team, and the this team in the Kings. I'm sorry, the Chicago. Their pace is low. You said, right? You said their pace has been low as of late.
Suns pace last 5 18th. Bulls pace 17th. They're very similar. They're within a half possession of each other. Both under 100 possessions a game. 98.9 for the Suns, 99.3 for the Bulls. The thing is that the Bulls have been shooting so nice.
But that's what I'm saying. They're both playing defense on the perimeter as well. They're holding the opponents to under 30 or 30% at the 3. So that definitely leans towards this under. I'm thinking about adding that on there as well. What you think? You think that may continue to get bet down though, right? I think that might be the consensus.
We've got no sign right now from the books at this point whether or not that it's going to go up or down. No sign. Let me just see if I can get something here.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that totals perspective, because when I was capping this game, I was so strung out on the side.
And then my feeling would be, if I was going to take a total, I would prefer a first half under. Because if one team gets a lead, I know these teams are capable of playing high-octane offense. And if needed, it could be a 3-point barrage late. What do you think of that idea of taking the first half under rather than the full game?
That makes sense as well. I believe the Suns are 7-9 towards the under. Oh, my apologies. They're 5-8 and 1 towards the under in the first half. So that does make sense for them to continue that trend. I think that's a good spot. I know for sure that the Suns have the advantage in the first half. As far as if you were looking to bet the side, they're 20-10 in the first half. Obviously, it was because they were winning when they're losing, but now they're losing, whatever. And they have been winning in the first half the last seven of the last 10 games. So they have been covering the first half as well. So that's why I would lean towards them a little bit more. But I understand that under, man. That under in the first half as well. Because if you think about it, man, it's going to only get cut for whatever the line is. If it's at 2, it's got to be at 210, 210.5, 211, maybe.
Sorry, I was thinking again about moving on the Suns first half. It's not available for me. The first half total is what you were asking?
Yeah, what you think that would be at like
It's 112.
111 or something like that?
112.
112. That makes sense, man.
Yeah, it does.
56 has to go over. You have to go over 56. I could see this Chicago team only scoring like 42 points.
I don't want to be on the Suns full game, I think, anymore, just because I just can imagine a situation where 90% of the money's on them.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, the first half, it seems like that was the play that I was going to be leaning towards anyway.
That makes sense to me. I think that's what I'm going to lean towards. It's not available for me yet, but I'm gonna hesitate, and hesitating here is going to cost me because we know
what's the available at FanDuel or MGM for the first half.
Good question. Let's see right now. The Suns and FanDuel's already moved it to 6. The Suns' first half is 3.5 minus 108. I bet you I can beat that, though. I bet you I can beat that. Let's see if I can.
For sure, because I mean, I know we can't use Bovada, but they got it at 2.5, bro. I have to hop on that one, bro.
See here, I bet you I can beat that here. Let's see what Fox bet. Are they gonna put up a first half for me?
Y'all got to understand that this is really organic. We really trying to just make sure we do everything right, dot our I's, cross our T's, just get it right, man. This is one of the best things about capping with you, bro, that I want everybody to know. It's just it's always right because we get the right number, bro.
Well, yeah, 2.5 at BetMGM, but it'll cost you minus 120.
You know what? I'll take that.
All right, Suns first half minus 2.5 at minus 120. Shit, now that's going to be in my head when that number is available for me to bet, knowing that you got a 2.5. Okay, very interesting breakdown. Very, very interesting breakdown. Man, I wish that this card didn't end, but it ends here, and this is the game that Wham has chosen. I'm happy you did. 10 p.m. Eastern, Portland Trailblazers at the LA Lakers. Trailblazers 18-13, 10-7 on the road. Lakers 22-11, 9-7 at home.
Yeah.
Crazy. The Lakers opened up as 2.5-point favorites. That's already moved to 3.5. Not at all books, but the indicators at least. Oh, shit, that's first half. Of course. I was like, what the hell? How could that be so low? Sorry. Lakers open at 5. It's moved to 5.5. The total at 221 now, 222. Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Blazers pace last 5, 27th in the league, 97.1 possessions a game. Lakers pace last 5, 28th in the league at 96.9 possessions, 96.98 possessions a game. Blazers have lost 3 straight after a 6-game winning streak. They're coming off a 111-106 loss at Denver on Tuesday night. It was a wildly interesting game. Portland turns the ball over 9 times. Denver turns the ball over once. Crazy. And not only that, but you'd think Denver turns the ball over one time and only puts up 111 points. NBA has been very interesting this year.
Very.
Damian Lillard went for 25 points, 13 assists, but it wasn't enough. Carmelo goes for 24. Gary Trent Jr. on a nice run right now. Yeah. Last 10 games, 18.3 points, shooting 44.8%. Nurkic, of course, out. The Giles day-to-day, Zach Collins out. McCollum out. Lakers coming off their 4th straight loss, 114-89 beatdown delivered to them in Utah. LeBron James scores 19 points. Montrezl Harrell at 18. I lost my LeBron James props badly. Lakers hope to have Schroeder back in the lineup. James, Markieff Morris, Kyle Kuzma, all banged up, questionable, but should be good to go. My thought here was that this would set up for a nice opportunity for Damian Lillard to be in a big, high-profile basketball game and with a slow pace and control the offensive side of things for the Blazers and put up a really nice points and assists. I was thinking about backing him from a prop perspective. I haven't looked at what it is yet. I'm going to pull it up right now. Wham, take it away. This is your pick. Lake Show, take it away.
Yeah, man. Maybe I'm just doing it to myself because I just hate going against the Lakers, bro. But it seems like this is a good spot to go against the Lakers. And we're going to probably try to just go ahead and take them out early. I think that Schroeder coming back is going to help the Lakers. Don't get me wrong. When he does come back, Let me go straight to his on and off stats. When Shooter is off the floor, the Lakers' offensive rating is 107.8. When he's on the floor, his offensive rating goes back up to 115.8. So it's just a big difference, almost eight points difference on the offensive rating. The effective field goal percentage goes up by 3 points, 3%. So it does help there. I just think that Portland just been playing a lot better, even though both of these teams have lost their last 3 games. The Lakers losing their last 4. Lakers just bad at the road. Of course, we know that they're they're only covered 1 in the last 6 games at the house. That's not good. I think as far as the Lakers in the first half is where I'm just going to attack them. When they're in the first half at the house, they're 5-11 in the first half. This Trailblazers team, they're 8-1. So they're not necessarily negative. They're not necessarily positive right there. They are, I think, down a unit if you were betting them consistently on the first half on the road. But I think that's just a good spot for them here. They're going to be focused on Damian Lillard like they were in the playoffs. I think Damian Lillard is going to have a good game here. Even though Schroeder defense has been crazy, I've been surprised about it, of course. But I think that the Portland Trailblazers just coming out hot, what they've been doing lately, it just makes sense for me as far as what they've been doing, shooting the ball. We know the Lakers haven't been shooting the ball lately great. The last 3 games, they're shooting at 29% rather than this Portland Trailblazers team, 33%. Their opponents' points in the paint is what's kind of tricky, though. The Lakers are ranked 24th in opponents' points in the paint. The Trailblazers in the last 3 games, they're ranked 20th. So they both giving it up in the paint, but I believe that the paint is where you're going to see the Trailblazers try to take advantage if they're not knocking down their shots. And I think the Lakers just defensively, they need AD back. And right now, Schroeder coming back is going to help their perimeter defense, but I think that they're still going to shoot well. Like you said, Trent Jr. is playing well. Carmelo's just playing like where were the teams at that needed him, because he's playing all time right now. But, I just like the Trailblazers early. I know we're getting an underdog. I'm going to just split a unit on the first half and the full on the money line, first half money line. But I'm just going to take it for the show first half. I think we get like 2.5, something around there.
You have a very interesting option here. You can get 2.5 at -102, so almost no juice, or you can get 3.5 at -120. And
3.5 -120.
There's no 3 available right now.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I'll take the -2.5. I'll take the plus 2.5. Yeah, just based off the juice alone, it's just gonna make you more money later on down the line, man. Just do the right thing for your kids.
Okay, we have Lakers first half plus 2.5 at -102 available at FanDuel for Wham. And Wham, I imagine there's going to be lots of additions, so I'll stay in touch with you tomorrow. We will make them. But let's break down what we're on. I'm on the Celtics full game and Tatum and Brown props. And Wham is staying off Pacers Celtics. Then Raptors, I'm on the over 220 and Siakam props. I'm not going to double up. He's not trustworthy. But I probably will take points and rebounds. I'm going to take points and rebounds. I'm not just going to take points. And Wham is on Raps first quarter -2.5, -108.
Yes, sir.
Then we have Jazz Heat. And at this point, I'm waiting on the Heat. And Wham hasn't moved on that game. But I am going to move on the Heat. And then we have Clippers, Grizzlies. And in that spot, Wham's plan was to take the Grizzlies, and he's going to wait. And I think that plan is very enticing. And then we have the Suns. And I think that first half and first half under makes a ton of sense to me, and I'm going to move on it. Wham is on the first half. He got -2.5 at -120. That was available at BetMGM. And then Wham's on Lakers. Excuse me, Lakers. He's on Blazers first half plus 2.5 -102 at FanDuel. Wham, we need to bounce back in a huge, giant way.
Most definitely.
Huge, giant way. And I think we'll get it. Last time that you had a swing and miss like you had on Tuesday was when you went on your big run. So I expect nothing less. Wham Bam, thank you for rolling with us, sharing your hard work and insights. You want to put a bow on this show for us?
Yeah, we appreciate everyone for joining us at odds.com for today's breakdown and just line up. Make sure you guys click the link below before y'all finish up everything. We appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. Trot Wam on Twitter. Jimmy the Bag, the man.
Let's get this. I fucking need this. Let's fucking go, baby.